Hi, this is Abhimanyu and you're watching your Hindustan Times and I have two action stars with me.
Is that what I got called?
Yes, you got called that. Hunter 2, Suniel Shetty, Anusha, Dandekar. Guys, thank you and welcome to HT.
Thank you.
I got to start by
This is my favorite interview.
Okay, it'll only get better. Now my goal is for him to say that as well by the end of it.
Okay.
Yeah, and that's...
No, I'll speak for him. It's our favorite interview.
Sunil sir, I want to ask you that we've all seen the first season, we've seen the trailer as well now, and you're doing some very heavy-duty, intense action. Yeah. And I know you've probably been asked a dozen times about the age and doing this and that. I want to ask you what has changed from the Balwan and Vinashak days to now. Your approach to action.
I think experience, wiser. It's not just about the energy and the power put behind the action, but the presence of mind, understanding a situation, performing better, thereby making the action look better, making sure that the action is backed with a solid situation. Otherwise, say, do we need this action? We don't need it. Let's get it out and let's focus on something else that will leave an impact that the audience could take away. You know, post-pandemic, I think during the pandemic, I watched so much. I also had a break for 4 or 5 years in my career, you know, which I took. I think it was 7, 8 years. I became the end user and I started understanding cinema more from a perspective of, no, yeah, this should have been this way, this. And then I analyzed my own and said, shit, I've been doing the same crap here. So let's change things. Yeah. So it's about reinventing yourself, understanding what your negatives are, putting the positives forward. You know, the movement, the attitude. Right. You know how attitude makes a difference. I think wiser now.
Wiser and more finesse.
Yeah. True. Very true. Finesse.
Anusha, you grew up in Australia. That's the most physical country there ever is.
Yeah,
right? And you had all sorts of, and of course, dance is also a part of that. For me, action is like dance because there's choreography involved.
True.
How do you bring that, the two loves of dance and your physical, sporty side to this, which nobody has sort of looked at?
Yeah, they haven't. I mean, it's thanks to Suniel sir and the team for asking me to be a part of this. And I was just telling somebody that I felt I really got to show the younger Anusha who grew up in Australia, who was always playing a sport or jumping into the ocean, or you know, whether it was netball, football, I don't know, anything. I would do anything. Volleyball. I was so active, and you know, I'm just a really hyper person anyway, because I always want to do something, and so I think this really got to like, I don't know, like a bucket list of wanting to do something, and this would be it. Yeah, definitely. I got to do kicks and cartwheels, and I've been doing that since I was a kid. So I think in Australia, you don't really have a choice. They just throw you in the water and ask you to swim. No, really, like in school, they just throw you in the water and ask you to swim. And doing handstands and cartwheels was every lunch and recess in school, so it was just really normal. But obviously in my career, I never got to really do so much of that. And it was always fashion, beauty, you know, and that. And then, like I said, I didn't really see a lot of action for females here anyway. But when I got asked to do this, it was super exciting. And yeah, I felt like I've just enjoyed every bit of it. It was scary. Obviously, look who I have to do action with.
Right.
But yeah, I hope I can hold my own.
I'm going to tell you something. It's more of a trivia than a question. And I have something. You are someone who grew up in Australia, and you're doing this action show called Hunter. You know, the first Indian action film starred an Australian woman, and it was called Hunter Wali.
No way!
Wow.
Fearless Nadia. She was Australian.
Wow.
1935.
What?
So exactly. So that's
why you said confidently I wanted to be the best interview, because you know how about awesome.
This is cool.
So
truly awesome.
So. Like you said, that, you know, for a long time, and so we'll probably agree that in the 90s and 80s, aisa ho gaya tha, the women's roles in action films were very passive. Something happens to them and that spurs on the hero to do something. And it did not start that way. Hunter Wali was her cracking the whip, quite literally.
Cool.
Now I like it that with films like, you know, like this show, for instance, or other films as well, where actresses are doing action, hardcore action.
Yeah.
It's coming back. Very nice course correction, right?
And 100%. I think obviously there is such a vast what's it called? It's a category that hasn't been
Exposed.
delved into,
Yeah.
exposed, explored, and there's no limitations there, you know. And I think if given the opportunity, there would be so many girls ready to train and
Right.
get themselves prepared and enjoy themselves thoroughly. I can vouch for that. But you also want to have co-stars like that who let you embrace it. It's not that you'd be their sidekick. It's that you are alongside them,
Right.
which is a huge difference.
Right.
You know, you're not a Robin.
Yeah.
You're literally you're the Catwoman.
Yeah, Catwoman.
You're the Catwoman who's the Batman. Do you know? It's and that makes you feel so much more passionate and ready to go, because honestly, let me tell you, I will tell you this. Obviously, I've known Suniel sir for a really long time. I know he's got a huge fan following, but when you hang with him on set or walk down the streets with him, you'll realize the intensity of it. Okay, it's not a joke. Like, people salute him, okay, and like they really respect him. And so when he gives you that, you know, space to also be alongside him, not in just on screen and off screen sense of the word, it makes you feel super honored.
Of course.
Like, wow.
It's a big validation.
And I know that all of his fans are gonna watch to see, am I keeping up?
Right.
Because like, how dare you give her the role with him? Is she keeping up with him? We're gonna be watching you. So it's
that's a big responsibility.
Yeah, it's huge. And so I'm like, oh my God, 24th. I'm just gonna wait for it, because I know how they feel about him.
Right.
And they don't know me.
But you're coming with the right attitude here.
Yeah.
If you're thinking of all that, then you're sorted.
Definitely. Woo, it's a lot.
I have a couple of questions, something from there that, like, when I mentioned that in the 80s and 90s, like, women's roles in action films were a little passive. Now when you look back at it, some of them you did as well, and उस time क्या वही demand था. Do you think that अरे आज मैं होता तो शायद ये फिल्म नहीं करता?
Of course, बहुत सारी फिल्में हैं जो हम नहीं करते, बहुत सारे किरदार हैं जो हम नहीं करते, क्योंकि समझ भी नहीं थी, और डायरेक्टर्स में कभी कभार कैपेबिलिटी नहीं थी एग्जीक्यूट करने में वो कहानियाँ, तो डेफिनेटली नहीं करता. बट एट द सेम टाइम इतनी फिल्में की है और यू नो वन इज मैनेज टू सर्वाइव, तो आगे जब करेंगे तो सोच समझ के करेंगे, यू नो. दैट्स व्हाई आई एम वेरी choosy with whatever little I get, but I am choosy.
It's not little, sir.
Yeah. It's just very humble.
What I mean is,
but you're selective.
Yeah, for sure.
But I'll tell you something that I go back to when I see you and Jackie Da on screen doing action. I go back to that line from Pathaan, which Shah Rukh and Salman say to each other. And there's a sentiment in the audiences right now that the action heroes from the 90s are the OGs.
Right.
But I probably don't agree that because there are younger actors who can do
stuff. For sure. I just said this a while back,
that for example, Tiger, someone.
Yeah.
He's doing very well. Ritik is not as young today, but he smashes it every time.
Yeah.
Do you agree with that sentiment that the younger stars are not as good as that?
No. The younger writers are not as writing such scripts. They are directors today. They were makers then. और एक maker अपने किरदार के प्यार में होता है when he does it, whether it's a girl or a guy. You know, Raj Kapoor made a film. Raj Saab did it with that love, or Manmohan Desai did it. Yeah. He convinced you that Amar Akbar Anthony can use that same, from one bottle can be given blood to, and we were convinced. So if you have scripts and characters that are as convincing, then you accept it. You accepted a Amitabh Bachchan who says, मैं गिरे हुए पैसे नहीं उठाता. And you accepted an Allu Arjun who says, मैं झुकेगा नहीं साला. तो basically same है वो कि मैं
exactly
dialogue same है, presentation अलग and belief in the characters. तो बहुत सारे young actors are who are too good with their performances also and can be as good in action. Yeah, आप उनको दो वो character. You know?
I'm gonna have to slightly disagree.
Okay, go ahead.
Only because I've spent time with Suniel sir and Jackie sir.
Tell me.
And it's not that there are bad actors in my generation or younger. These guys have some magic, and I can't explain what it is. They just walk into a room and you're all like, you know, you turn around because it's their aura.
But did they have that at 30?
No,
I don't know,
It's
but they have
no,
it
it's over
now.
a period. Yeah, that's
And
because
they
it's a
have it
period of
now.
time and because of the consistency and your behavior. You know, then you sum up people. And
Right.
I always understand one thing: with age and maturity comes respect in the other person's eyes.
Yeah.
And if you live up to that,
Then that.
Then-
I'm just
it
saying how
grows.
they've managed to hold their own.
Yeah, that I agree.
And the way that they can still hold their own and have that presence and have that, yes, I get it. Maybe they didn't have it in their 30s or
Yeah.
whatever, but the fact of the matter is they
still-
have it,
they
they
still have
still
it, yeah.
have
They
it
still
now,
have
and
it.
that stay and that, like, I
Aura
don't
is the
know.
only word.
There's no word for it because
Yeah.
I've seen it in front of my eyes.
That
It's-
magnetism, right?
Yeah, exactly. And so you don't even want to compete with that, and you
Mm.
don't even want to compare the next generation
course.
with it
That's a
because it's
little
not a
unfair, yeah.
comparison.
Yeah.
It's not a comparison.
But what I'd say is, I'd like the younger generation to have the option to develop that.
yeah.
Oh,
yeah,
of course.
That's
but
what
if they
goes.
have
But
the right,
they will.
They should get those chances.
Yeah,
at least.
they should
That's
get
what-
the chances.
I like that how the times have changed, because when you started like 30, 35 years ago, you 20 years ago, if you came from a non-cinematic background, whether you were just a VJ or not traditional looking hero, you're like, nahi ho payega.
Yeah.
Aap na wahi karo.
Sahi baat.
Today, if you're from within the film family, you don't get the chance.
Yeah,
The audience has those words about you.
True.
Nepotism, nepo kid, insider.
सक्सेस में वो पीछे
हाँ.
वो टिक देने के लिए और लाइक देने के लिए सोचते हैं 10 बार.
So that
You know?
is very, I don't know how you have seen that change, right? That today,
Absolute.
coming from outside is no baggage. Earlier it used to.
Yeah.
You find it funny?
Yeah. You know, because there's another, the kids have to work harder to prove, which means earlier they took it for granted that I'd be a part, that this is my hierarchy and I would be a part of it. Today, the kid says, educate yourself, come prepared as an actor, language, body, dance, be absolutely prepared. Go to school and come. Don't believe that you can walk into high school or college without, finishing school.
So the audience is unfair.
Yeah, absolutely. And everybody's judgment. Everybody believes they're a critic, and it's not critical appreciation of cinema. It's critical trashing of cinema that's going on. Because,
It's become a little rapid now. I will end it with one final question to you, Suniel sir, and this is slightly different from the show, which I ask every actor today. Is that, do you remember the first paycheck you ever got? It could be something cinema related, या उससे पहले भी. जब पहली बार हाथ में कुछ पैसा आया.
Yeah, of course I
What it
do.
was and how much was it?
Probably $10 or $15.
Seriously, कब की बात है?
RSP. School.
Right.
Oh.
तो एक बिस्किट की पैकेट और कोई 5-10 रुपये मिले थे हमें और अपने ह्यूज रोड पे खड़ा था मैं गणपति इमर्जन के टाइम पे when फाइनल डे पे when गणपति जी गोज टू मरीन समुद्र की तरफ तो RSP का जॉब था मुझे आज भी याद है कि कैश मिले थे हाथ में और कुछ बिस्किट मिले थे और मेरी टोपी जी थी लाल थी उसका कलर छूट के शर्ट पे आ गया था तो मेरा शर्ट टोटल पिंक हो गया था मटेरियल भी वैसा था कि it had soaked in the color beautifully and changed the color of the shirt. I never forget that.
You know what, I was going to play a game saying, if I guess the money, then you have to give it to me.
Good for you.
50 साल पहले यार.
But वो 10 रुपए की वैल्यू ना.
हाँ, absolutely. अब 50 साल पहले 10 रुपये की वैल्यू थी.
उस बच्चे के लिए 10 रुपए.
हाँ, absolute. मेरी अपनी कमाई.
Exactly.
मेरी अपनी कमाई और मैं जानता हूँ कि I never took money from Dad. I never took money from him. I started working with him when I was 14 and 15 because I wanted to help him. He was going through some health issues. So I earned my money.
You never felt like not living my childhood or anything like other kids?
No, I was living my childhood. But I was enjoying that as a part of my childhood. I'm not complaining there. No way. It's made me the man I am. That restaurant business has taught me so much. That is where the true sense of Atiti Devo Bhava came in. And customer above everything else. And tirelessly, even now, I'm on a set. I don't walk out till the time I'm not clear that my director is not happy. Or I'm not happy. I never will.
I also started working when I was 15.
Yeah.
And I didn't ask
That's
my
what I'm
parents for
saying.
money. But I still had an amazing childhood.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think you like to balance that out. You
Yeah.
manage to find that balance,
True,
which is very
true,
essential.
true.
Gives you great work ethic as well.
Thank you for the time and all the best for Hunter Season 2, which is coming out on Amazon and next year on the 24th. I hope everyone loves it as much as you have.
And I hope you're going to watch it.
Definitely.
And
definitely.
genuinely, good interviews because your knowledge about cinema and others extraordinary.
Thank you.
And also just the introduction. You have my heart. I mean, I don't deserve it, but I loved
No,
it.
of course.
You've earned it.
You watch it and then tell me.